Chuck Schumer, not thinking that he's being recorded, is talking about a new process. You know, the Constitution. See, I show you this chart from Phil Kerpen, and you see how they're just subverting everything. They're just going around everything. Well, Chuck Schumer, he has an idea too, and he shared it in a room full of progressives plus one. And here's what he said.
Look, this is something that people have looked at over in the past, so you can't just rush it out. You have to really study it carefully, and that's what the hearings, I'm chair of the Rules Committee, and we have jurisdiction over this, is intended to do. There have been some very interesting papers written that say that the constitutional right, for instance, of the Senate to make its own rules supersedes the two-thirds that you can't change the rules, but only when Congress writes new rules at the beginning of each Congress, every 2-year period when we reorganize ourselves. That's something we want to explore.
I bet you do.
I bet you do. So let me see. You got to play by the rules that are set out in the Constitution. You got to play by the rules, and if you want to change those rules, you have to have 2/3 vote to change those rules. Unless, and there's something we're exploring, you just set out new rules at the beginning of the year. Excuse me?
Where does it say that in the Constitution?
Where
we can supersede the Constitution if we want to, if we decide to at the beginning of the session? What?
Why would you have the whole 2/3 thing? Why not just say, you know what, it set out your own rules at the beginning of the year? But this isn't something he stands by. This is something we're exploring. Academically, we're just exploring this. Ways to get around. Ways to, cap and trade, passed in the House, failed in the Senate, give it to the EPA. Internet regulation. Didn't pass in the House, didn't pass in the Senate, give it to the FCC. Union card check. Passes in the House, not in the Senate. Nominate somebody. Craig Becker. Oh, that didn't pass in the Senate. I just give it a recess appointment. Debt Commission doesn't go by the Senate. Just to do it executive order. Healthcare doesn't look like you can do it the right way. Do it through reconciliation. And if that doesn't work, what is the new thing they're calling it now? The new where it's just nobody even has to vote on it. It's a slaughter rule. Don't even vote on it. It's something they're exploring. I don't think. I mean, if this isn't if this were a company, this company would be the most evil company on the planet. Can you imagine having tape of one of its chief officers? Let's say it's Enron. Let's say it's Exxon. And we had tape of one of its chief officers saying, you know what, look, the law says this, but we're exploring some other ways to get around the law. If we had on tape, how long do you think before that officer would be fired? If we had on tape as many pieces of evidence of corruption that we have in Washington, do you think any company would survive? No.